Welcome to a new class, yogis. Today we are going to work through our hips. The hips are an area that carry a tremendous amount of physical tension for many of us, but also of stuck emotions and stuck energetic tension. We are going to try lizard pose and 3 of my favorite variations to release the hips 360 degrees. Hopefully you will feel a lot of ease and comfort around your hips afterwards. You will need a couple of blocks or books and also a blanket. So pause the video, grab your props, and I'll see you on the mat in a second. Okay, so let's get started. Hop onto your hands and knees, and we're gonna begin with a little bit of cat and cow. You know, this is one of my favorites, so bring the hands under your shoulders, the knees under your hips, and then round your back as you exhale and arch your back as you inhale. Maybe pull the lips into a smile. Exhale. And inhale. Great. From here, bring the hands a little bit forward and pull yourself up into downward facing dog. Gonna keep the knees deeply bent, lifting the hips up off the floor, spread the fingers. And before we get into lizard pose, I just wanna warm up with One Sun Salutation. So bend your knees, take a step forward with the right foot, with the left foot. Bring the hands to your shins, press into them and lengthen the spine. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, bend forward. You can keep the knees a little bit bent. And now we're gonna inhale with a long spine. Draw your arms up towards the sky. And exhale, fold back forward. Step the right leg back, step the left leg back into plank pose. And maybe you're gonna come down through the knees, lowering the knees and then the rest of the body, or you come down through chaturanga. Inhale into cobra pose. It can be a smaller cobra or a bigger one than mine. And then exhale, go back into downward facing dog. You're gonna do one more round of this. So step the left leg forward, then the right leg forward. Bring even weight to both feet. Inhale, elongate your spine. Push the hands into the shins. Exhale to fold. And then inhale, lengthen the spine. Come up with a long, long spine. Engage the belly, the pelvic floor. Inhale, rise. And exhaling, coming back down. This time step back with the left leg first. Then step back with the right leg. Lower down. This time I'm gonna show you how to come down with the knees first. But you can do plank and chaturanga as well. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Lift into cobra pose. And then release and go back into downward facing dog. Cool, so let's get into lizard pose. Step the right leg forward and take it around the right hand into a wide stance. So your foot is pretty much out to the side around the outer edge of your mat. And now you can do lizard pose. The basics are the following. So lizard pose, you can either do it with the left knee down, and that is what you might need the blanket for that I mentioned you should grab. So you can put that blanket under your left knee if you want to. Also, you can do lizard pose with the knee up, which obviously is a little bit harder work for the muscles, but also deeper stretch. And you decide which one you want to do. I'm going to show a few variations of things, so I think it's good to mix it up. Have a few variations with the knee down and a few up. So I'm going to start with the knee down. And for this first variation, I want to show you something that I love to do. So we are going to come into a side stretch. I'm going to walk my hands a little bit to the left. And now I'm looking towards the left edge of my front of my mat. And now take the left hand, the left elbow down to the floor and stretch the right arm forward. So you're kind of diagonally stretching away from your hip. If you can't bring the left elbow to the ground, then you just stay on your hand and you can do the same thing. Just bend the elbow, the left elbow a little bit, doesn't have to touch the ground, but stretch far, far, far forward with the right hand. And you will notice that your right knee wants to go a little bit out to the side, and that's okay. Take one more breath. Deep breath into the right side of your upper body. And then come back to the center. Now, something else that's, I think the knee down is a good way to do it, is a variation where we will stretch into the outer hip as well. So what you're gonna do is bring the front foot into about a 45-degree angle, looking out to the side. And now you're gonna let the right leg open like a book. Let it open a little bit. And you will notice that the inside of the left foot is going to come up. Now, what I would not want you to do is, and I'm going to show you from the front, I do not want you to collapse into that ankle and have the ankle bent like this. Keep the integrity of the relationship between the ankle and the foot, the leg, yeah? And now that we are here, you can start kind of moving a little bit up and down and moving a little bit in that hip socket. And I can feel this definitely in my outer hip here. You can also lift the left knee off the floor if you want to. This makes it kind of tough, much tougher. So it's up to you if you want to keep the knee down or up. But here you can just sway from side to side, forward and back, until you find that perfect angle where you can feel a juicy stretch here on the outside. I'm just gonna roll a few more times. Hope you're doing the same. Great. And now we are I'm gonna come back to the mat. Now, let's take for the last variation, lift the left knee off the floor if that's something you wanna try. And then take the right arm up into a twist. And lizard pose, you can do lizard pose as well with the forearms down. And take that right arm up then. But for many of us, lizard pose with the forearms down is not always possible. And you have blocks, and you can take the blocks under your hands, or you can take the blocks to bring the forearms on the blocks. Great. And then bring the hands back down. Bring the left knee back down and step back. Whew. That feels intense. It's a good stretch. So again, remember, you can take the forearms in all of the variations. You can take the forearms down. You can lift the knee off to make it more intense. That's the two things. The easiest variation will always be to have the hands on the ground instead of the forearms, and to have the knee rested on the mat instead of having the knee up. And you decide how intense you want this to be. All right, let's do the other side. Step the left foot forward and to the left of your left hand. So have the left foot aligned with the left edge of your mat. And now coming into the side stretch. So you're gonna walk a little bit to the right with the hands, turn away from the left hip, Then take the right forearm down. If you can't, you can use a block. And if you still can't, then just keep the right hand down on the floor and just bend the elbow as much as you want to. And now stretch with the left hand forward and away. And make sure that you're not going, that the left knee is pulling kind of in the opposite direction. Okay, so what you do not want to happen is your whole body kind of going this way. You want your left knee go the other way or stay straight, whilst your upper body is stretching the other way, so that we can get this lovely stretch here into the side. One more breath. Then come back to the center. Turn the toes out a little bit. Now open the leg as if it was a book and make sure not to collapse here. So we're gonna keep this in line. And you can lower here onto your forearms, as I said, or you can stay up on your hands. And now we're just gonna rock a little bit from side to side, looking for that perfect angle for you. Maybe you wanna bring the foot a little bit more forward. Maybe you wanna bring it a bit more in the center. Really, everybody is different here. Everybody has tightness in a different area. And it's for you here to explore a little bit, move around. You can take a few circles with the hips. Maybe going back to the side-to-side movement or going back and forth a little bit. No right or wrong, whilst you keep this active. So push the left outer heel, the left outer edge of your foot. Press it actively into the floor. When you find the sweet spot, you can always stay there if you want to. Okay, let's take one breath. Good. And then I'm gonna turn back around onto the mat as well. Now we're gonna come into the twist. For the twist, I personally gonna take my right knee up, but you can keep it low if you want to. And then decide if you wanna come down onto your forearm or stay on your hand. And then come into the twist. So left arm reaching up, you're turning the chest towards the left knee. And if you want, this is how it looks on the hand. It's just a little bit taller. Both variations for me feel really, really great. So try them both and then decide which one you prefer. You could keep the knee down here as well if you wanted to. And take one more breath. And then release. Right knee down. And then take the left knee back. And we're gonna rest in child's pose to kind of calm down from this little stretch and finish off the class. What I really like to do in child's pose is just roll on my forehead. You can roll the forehead left and right. Massage this area. Massaging, having some kind of pressure on the forehead, around the eyebrows and between the eyes. It's really soothing for the nervous system. Lots of pressure points as well on the forehead. So just roll over to the right and left from temple to temple and notice how it makes you feel. And let's come back to the center and rest for a moment. One more breath. And from here, walk yourself back in, come up, stretch Stretch the right knee up. Stretch the left knee up. Like this. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you feel ease and freedom around your hips. Happy hips. If you like this class, subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment, feedback to the class, or any wishes for future classes. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining. Namaste.